with Drew Steele.
Well, hey, everybody. Glad you're joining us today on Flow with His Voice. My name is Drew Steele, Big D. On the other side of the glass, you got Nina in the breaking newsroom, and you hanging out with us at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble X, and Facebook. And anytime you want to watch, it's there. Anytime you want to stream live, drewsteele.com, the website. Steele has 3 E's. You can go there anytime you like. You can even ask questions. D, you could ask me questions at drewsteele.com. You could say things like, hey, is your hair always that weird looking? Yes, it is. Now you don't have to send that message. Or other ones. I don't know what they might be, but you just never know what's on somebody's mind.
That's amazing.
Yes, it's technology. In the grips of your fists, or something like that. I don't know if that's a. Sorry. Anyway, it's not that big a deal. All right, coming up, do we? Look, we're going to get into Turning Point USA, the event, and a couple of things that were said. I got to be honest. I'm not that guy. There are people across the country and around the world who want to talk about this as the fracturing of the party and MAGA versus whatever and free speech versus we've got to shut it down and how dare you have somebody platformed on your platform, and then the other side's like, then don't watch the platform. I mean, that kind of. We have to go through this whole thing, and I don't know. I just don't want to play along. I just don't want to play with this because we've got a country to save. We have people that really want to do us harm politically. And if we start to fracture in any way, shape, or form, or people have this idea that we're fracturing and it happens, we got bigger fish to fry than if you're worried about what Ben Shapiro said to Megyn Kelly, who said something to Tucker Carlson, who should have said something to Candace Owens. Do you see what I'm saying, D? I mean, maybe I'm on an island. I don't know. Maybe people like this whole thing. I don't.
I think some people do.
Yeah, some people do. I don't. I'm just not that guy. But I will play some of the audio from over the weekend just because I want to touch on it. Because I don't want anybody saying, oh, so you didn't want to talk about it. No, I'll talk about it. Because I think there were very, very important points that were made, and I don't know that they were all necessarily about just a couple of people. Now, let me just say this. I'll play a portion of Ben Shapiro. Look, Ben Shapiro called out Megyn Kelly and others at TPUSA and basically called them cowards, and some of the things that they say and some of the people that they platform, and where there might be people that are like, hey, hold on a second. How did you become the arbiter of all things conservatism? Number 2, can I think for myself? Can I just get enough information? And I'm just telling you what other people have said to me. I'm not taking a position on this. I'm just telling you what people say in the country. Does that make sense, D? Okay. So you're following me? So there's some,
all good.
There's some people that heard, Ben Shapiro, and they're like, right on, that's exactly what we're talking about. How dare they platform all these people? And it's like, wait a minute, how did you become the arbiter of everything conservative? Oh, and by the way, do I get to think for myself, or do I have to listen to the influencers? Which, I know they're influencers for a reason, and they do a lot of work, and they look into issues, and they give their point of view. But with all due respect, you got a brain. And I think it works really well. And in some cases, it works better than the influencers. So you get information, you culminate all the information together, and you make up your own choice, your own decision. But I don't know. Sorry. And I'm sorry if that bothers anybody. So here's Ben Shapiro with a couple of things that he said about certain people who, and look, there are people, D, I'm not able to switch the camera over. So can you double and triple check that? Let me know when you can. There it is. Okay. So here's Ben Shapiro, who's very upset about certain people and some of the things that they have said and some of what they're talking about. And I get it.
Coalitions. It's the job of those of us who try to shape public opinion to hold politicians to account and to hold them accountable to our values. We must not let fear of audience deter us from telling the truth. We must not let fear of other hosts deter us from telling the truth. So, for example, if Candace Owens decides to spend every day since the murder of Charlie Kirk.
All right, so clearly there are some people that know where this is going, and they already see what's happening with the Candace Owens talk. Go ahead.
So, if Candace Owens decides to spend every day since the murder of Charlie Kirk casting aspersions at TPUSA and the people who work here, who worked with Charlie every single day, his best friends, to cast aspersions at Mikey McCoy and Andrew Colvin and Blake Neff and Tyler Boyer, and yes, at Erica Kirk, and to imply or outright claim complicity in a cover-up over Charlie's murder, to spew absolutely baseless trash implicating everyone from French intelligence to Mossad to members of TPUSA in Charlie's murder or a cover-up in that murder, then we, as people with a microphone, have a moral obligation to call that out by name.
Okay, and people have, and you have, and I get it. You know, maybe this is like an easy way out for me. Maybe that some people will look at this and say, well, that's kind of a cop out, what you're saying. Then don't listen. Then don't pay attention. If I don't know why Candace Owens is going as far as she's going. I don't know if she truly, literally does have information that nobody else has, or if she's just trying to get clicks and make money, which I don't know. But I don't know, D. It just seems as simple as all of the things that we try to convince other people of when it comes to the left, which is if you think this person's crazy, if you think the things that they're saying are crazy, then don't listen. Then just walk away from it. Then dismiss it out of hand. Find the truth. Find out what the truth is and call it a day. But I guess there's too much influence going on, and there are too many people who have doubts. And why do they have doubts? Unfortunately, if we're going to be honest, and this is an honest program, tell a friend. If you're going to be honest, part of the reason why is because too many young people have been lied to. Too many people have been told one thing only to find out something else. Too many people were told that dude over there is a woman. And it's like, no, that's, look, no, it's not. Oh, yes, it is. No, it's really, that person is really not. I'm just giving you one example. But there are many examples of how people have been told one thing, have been lied to. And so there's that side. Then you have the side of, for example, Megyn Kelly, who was responding to Ben Shapiro along with Jack Posobiec and what they had to say. Let's see.
You mentioned him, and your name came up on this stage last night in regards to pretty much all of this. Would you like the opportunity to respond?
Well, I found it kind of funny that Ben thinks he has the power to decide who gets excommunicated from the conservative movement, which shows a willful blindness about his position in it. It reminded me a little of when the girl who was the head of our middle school chorus told me she was going to take all my friends away from me. Chorus? A head cheerleader maybe, but so I resent the whole thing. I object to the whole thing. Ben and I, he had the nerve to call me a friend right before he called me a despicable coward for not calling out the people he once called out.
All right, so Megyn Kelly went on for another couple of minutes with this as well, and trying to make the point with Jack Posobiec and others that Ben Shapiro has the power to decide who gets excommunicated from the conservative movement, which shows a willful blindness about his position in it. She made claims about how basically she made Ben Shapiro. I guess he was nothing until she would come onto his Fox News program, which that's not really true. Ben Shapiro was out making a name for himself, going to college campuses, spreading the conservative message and taking on a lot of the lefties on campus. So, that that kind of thing. So, did I say what did I say? Excommunicated? I said excommunicated? What did I say?
Excommunicated?
Did I say that? I found it kind of funny that Ben thinks he has the power to decide who gets excommunicated from the conservative movement.
There you go.
Oh, I said excommunicated?
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm saying anymore.
Happy Monday.
Okay, happy Monday. Here's the bottom line. With just these two, here's my bottom line. By the way, Brendan Leslie is on the line with us right now here at Florida's Voice. I forget what he does. What is it? What's your role again, sir? I forget.
Pay the bills.
You pay the bill. That's right. It is your name on my check. Okay, sorry about that. Yes, okay. The founder, owner, CEO, whatever you want to call him, of Florida's Voice. Good guy. Ready to talk about, I guess, this issue. But let me just say this one thing quickly before I move on to you, sir, and it's this. I am concerned that there are people that are looking at a fracturing of the MAGA movement and America First and what is going on. And in the meantime, we have huge, ginormous fish to fry when it comes to the left and trying to fight against them. And I just hate that all of this is happening. And that's it for me, full stop. Okay. How are you today? And what are you? I'm assuming you wanted to talk about this.
Man, I call it a hell of a time.
Yeah,
I was hoping to say Merry Christmas to all of our listeners and all of our great affiliates. And here I am. And at a pivotal point in your show, Drew, ready to comment on whatever you need.
Oh, well, you don't have to on this. It's really, you could just ignore it or forget about it, or, you know.
I haven't been ignoring it. I've been chiming off on social media because I'm very upset about it. Just since when was Charlie Kirk's mission a platform for everyone to be petty and push nonsense? Like, that's my question. It was very upsetting that the first major event Turning Point holds post Charlie Kirk assassination, I just feel like the narrative was just like he said, she said, Israel this, Qatar that, Islam this, Megyn Kelly that, Ben Shapiro that. And I'm like, well, hold on. You got 30,000 guests in attendance on a non-election year for a group that is meant to energize the youth movement and the youth vote, and all we did was talk about petty online wars. I got newsflash for Turning Point, Drew, and everyone that attends this. The people do not go and vote in 2026 based off of what Candace Owens, Ben Shapiro, or Megyn Kelly are saying. They're voting off of what is impacting their lives. I feel as a conservative movement, we get way too hyper online. I mean, look at what Governor Ron DeSantis did with his presidential campaign. He thought X defined everything, and he literally tried to announce his campaign on X. It's just stupid. It's so stupid for anyone to think what is being said on X is the pulse of the real people and the vast majority of voters, because it's not. It really isn't.
Well, no, that's true.
I've done this. I'll end with this point. I'm rambling on here a little second.
Yeah.
I've recently made a new group of friends that are not like Politico nerds like us. They're in tune with what's going on, but it really isn't the first thought in their minds. And I've spent a lot of time with them over the last couple of months, Drew. Mm-hmm. I promise you the name Candace Owens hasn't come up once.
Oh, I agree. I'm in the same boat. Like well, let me put it this way. There are certain people that are very invested in what she's been saying and Tucker Carlson's been saying and the platforming of and the questions that they have, because they feel like in the past those questions, they always had questions in the past. The people that I know that I talk to always had doubts and questions in the past, and now there are people of prominence who are bringing up the questions and the doubts that they always had, and so they just want to know what in the world is going on here. It's and so to your point, do a majority of people follow what's going on X? No. Do a majority of people follow what's going on with Candace Owens' life, Tucker Carlson, and no, because they have their own lives to live, because they got to get food on the table. They got to figure out what's affordable and what isn't. They got to figure out a lot of different things, including in 2026, how local elections are going to affect them and the things that are going to be tangible each and every day. And so I get that. And that's a big part of why. And look, if somebody wants to say it's a cop-out, it's not to me. It's being honest that we have bigger fish to fry. And I just hate that we're fighting amongst each other, or we're supposedly fractured. You know, let people...
We're not, though.
No, I don't think so. I think it's just like, look, let them talk. Let everybody have their place. Let everybody... and if you are mad that somebody's being platformed, or you're upset that so-and-so is putting some things out there that you think are ridiculous, then ignore them and move on with your life and just go and just, you know, keep explaining what is the truth, and we move on, I guess. Maybe it's just not that easy. Maybe I'm trying to make something complicated simple.
I don't know. It's really annoying because Republicans have this group, this I don't know how big the group really is. I think it's a small fraction of the GOP base, but they have this this faction that is like all purists or nothing. Like, you have to 100% agree with everything, or you're a rhino, or you're this, and you're not you're not America first. Like, the best example I can think of is like everyone attacking Ben Shapiro. Is Ben Shapiro the most conservative thing that has ever been gifted to God's green earth? No, absolutely not. A few years ago, he was standing up for the vaccines. That was the least conservative thing you can do. Is he a rhino? Is he a liberal? Absolutely not. Right. Everyone needs to. I always remind everyone, every time I speak to a group, I tell them 80-20 rule. Do I agree with you the majority of the time? Then you're a friend. You're not an enemy. And that's what we need to start getting back to, because that's where all these fights are coming. It's like, if you're not 1,000% perfect in my eyes, you're an enemy. Well, that's just not how we're going to win elections. And now I'm seeing, Drew, I will be the first to say it, and I've said it over and over and over for years, Vivek, I do not like Vivek Ramaswamy, who's running for Ohio governor.
Why?
I just don't like him. I think I don't think because he think he's a little bit of he doesn't really have a platform. I could go on and on and on, but that's besides the point. He's going to be the Republican nominee for in Ohio. But I got that fraction of people I'm talking about right now are now saying, no, we're not voting for Vivek. We're gonna sit this out or vote for the communist Democrat running against him. I'm like, well, what good does that do for America? How is that America first? That's the problem we have right now. It's Vivek, I don't agree with him 100% of the time, but if I was an Ohio resident, you bet your bottom dollar I'm going to be there next November voting for him. I don't want a communist Democrat governor. That doesn't help.
And one important, and before we go, not that I'm kicking you off my show, but one important thing that I do want to again mention, and I've talked about this many times. Please don't throw out the politician with the bathwater if there's something about what they've done that you don't like. There are things that the president, unfortunately, has been signing off on that I do not like. I don't like the scheduling of marijuana down to a Schedule 3 when it didn't have to be a Schedule 3. And I think there are people in his ear that don't have the best of intention like he does with regard to the medicinal side of marijuana and getting down to the truth as to what it can and cannot do and to help people. I think people in his ear have that in mind, but mostly have profit and have recreational on their mind. So I think that was a mistake. Does that mean I'm going to discourage anybody from following or listening to the president of the United States? No, of course not. And you shouldn't either. That's not the way this should work. You're doing this wrong. You do these kind of things because you have a belief system and something that you feel strongly about, and you communicate it with the hope, like you do with your friends and family over Christmas, over the holiday season, leading into the time when you don't see them as much anymore because they leave the house and go back to where it is that they live. But you have the opportunity to speak honestly and openly with them about the things you care about, with the idea that you might be able to change their mind because you stand with the truth. And if it happens, great. And if it doesn't, well, you can't just be like, oh, I'm just going to accept it because otherwise it's showing that I don't love the president. That's not true. That's not true at all. So don't do that. That's what I'm saying. Okay, I'll give you the last word on this, and then that's it.
Yeah, we're supposed to be able to not all fall in line 100% with each other. That's called brainwashing. That's what the Democrats do. That's why they're always in line with each other, and that's how they vote together. Republicans are a little bit more free thinkers, but we really need to stop enabling the part of our party that is, expects you to be a complete purist or you're a terrible person. I mean, that's what's the tiny little pushback that Byron Donalds is getting online is the same thing. It's they view, because he's not 1,000% been against H-1B his entire career. He's a rhino. He's a lib. What? He's going to be the next Andrew Gillum. That's what idiots online are saying. And that's why X is just really, I hate that we even have to talk about it, because I don't want to give it too much life and enable it too much. But really what you see on that platform is just simply a false reality. It's not realistic.
Okay. Is there anything else? Now, would you like to give everybody listening your Christmas wish for the year as we finish this out?
No, it's just exciting. It's our first full calendar year, ending the show, Florida's Voice with Drew Steele. And we have a lot of great affiliates across the state of Florida and a lot of great listeners that's listening right now. And I just wanted to say Merry Christmas from the founder of Florida's Voice. All of us here at Florida's Voice, really, we are very grateful, eternally grateful for all the support.
There you go. Okay. Well, have a wonderful day, and I'm sure I'll talk to you in about 15 minutes when we're on break. I'm sure you'll have something to say. All right,
I'll bring my complaints to you then.
Okay, good. There he goes. Okay. I'm sorry, the phone doesn't work anymore. You can't bring your complaints. I'm so sorry. Yeah, it looks like, the phone just stopped. Hey, D, the phone just stopped working. I don't know what happened. It just all of a sudden.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I know. So, no, we're not going to do that. There are other things we have to tackle. Like, for example, a left that, and I'm not making this up, a left that insisted that we all need to have electric buses. Remember Kamala Harris and the wheels on the yellow bus go round and round? Remember?
It's not Kamala, not Kamala. It's Kamala.
Do you remember how Kamala Harris and the left were all about the electric buses? We got to have electric buses with the kids, the yellow buses with the kids, and we're going to have electric buses.
That was their thing.
Right. Well, guess what? I guess there's a problem in New York because it's cold in New York right now. And guess what's happening? By 2027, all the school buses have to be electric because they want clean air and they tout all the great things. Here's the problem. They're not telling you this. Parents are like, hey, my kid came home from school. It was 23 degrees and they didn't have the heat on in the bus. They shut the heat off on the bus because it uses too much energy. It drains the battery too fast. What? Are you kidding? No, I'm not kidding. And we're hearing more and more and more and more stories like this out of places like New York. The kids are freezing on the mandated electric school buses during the brutal winter weather because, we can't put the heater on, kids. You're just gonna have to what? And that is happening. That's the kind of thing that we have to fight against. That's the kind of thing that we have to be unified on and stop. I hope that makes sense. Man, that is bad stuff. I can't believe it, but we're hearing more and more about that. So, all right, 866-588-8303 is the phone number. By the way, that's the transition music, letting you know that we're moving on to something else like Strata Air Conditioning and Heating. They show up fast, they get the job done right. Maybe you need a Strata AC tune-up to keep that unit running efficiently, or maybe you need a brand new unit because yours is 10 years old or older. I get it. STRADAAC.com across the state of Florida, wherever you are. Reach out. You ought to call Strata. License number CACO 43953. Top of the news coming up next.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA, is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families, and one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and I have to tell you, when my wife and I talked about getting new kitchen countertops for our house, we know who to call. Rock Solid Countertops and More, 2240 J&C Boulevard in Naples. And they have been absolutely amazing. Hugo and the team are the best. The workmanship has been absolutely incredible. The install was so easy. The process was perfect. Taking everything out, bringing the new stuff in. The quartz countertop is unbelievably beautiful, and my wife is super happy, I'll tell you. You know they have the best quality and selection of marble, quartz, granite, and a one-stop shop for all of your kitchen, outdoor, and bathroom needs. I've known it for years. I've lived in Southwest Florida 40 years. There was really only one place I was going to go. It's Rock Solid Countertops and More. I would suggest you give them a call, 596-7676. They're at 2240 J&C Boulevard in Naples. Find out what they can do for you. Countertops, cabinets, plantation shutters, they do it all. Rock Solid Countertops and More.
Let's see, if something costs less, a lot less, but people are actually happier with it, that sounds like something to look into. And that's MetaShare. Maybe you've heard joining MetaShare can save you or your family up to $500 a month, and that's huge. But it's also true, people are just happier with it. They love being part of something that reflects and promotes their values and what they believe in. MetaShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years now, and members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 855-SHARE-40. 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 855-SHARE-40.
Since the dawn of time, man and wildlife have shared a connection, and hunting traditions passed down from generation to generation have connected man to the natural world, from bow and arrow to hook and bullet. As man evolved, our link to those traditions remain with them forever. Yet today, our basic instinct to provide and as part of the hunt to conserve and appreciate the natural world has fallen under attack for the first time in human history. The misguided politicians and radical activists pushing an agenda to end hunting as we know it, or leading a war against our heritage and their misguided policies and protests. They demonize hunters and belittle our way of life, the results of hunters leaving the sport in droves, while our wildlife and ecosystems suffer the consequences as conservation funding dries up. Named after the father of the North American model for wildlife conservation, the International Order of T. Roosevelt is fighting in the arena to protect and expand the rights of hunters everywhere. We will fight back against these forces to make sure that every American has a right to hunt, enshrined in their state constitutions. We will educate the next generation in our traditions and seek to expand accessibility so that everyone can enjoy our pastimes. And we will continue to hold true to our namesake's efforts to protect, preserve, and ensure open access to our nation's wild lands. Teddy Roosevelt's vision for American conservation defines our modern hunting and conservation system, a system upheld by the idea that conservation efforts are crucial to our hunting way of life, and that hunters are crucial to successful conservation.
To some, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much, but that's not true. They're testing out vowels and consonants and trying different sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on meaning, especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, are you still playing defense with your money? It's time to shift gears and seize the fresh opportunities this new pro-business environment has to offer. That's exactly what certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and the team at Advantage Retirement Group do for high net worth investors like you, helping you go on the offense with advanced tax strategies, thoughtful risk management, and forward-thinking financial planning. Imagine enjoying the retirement lifestyle you've worked so hard to achieve, all while staying one step ahead, and in a changing world, you've got to do it. Alfie and his team design personalized strategies to strengthen your financial foundation so you can focus on living life on your terms. Ready to find out more? Text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Again, you can call or text 239-747-7470. Schedule your one-on-one consultation today and see how a proactive approach can help you thrive no matter what the market does next. Don't wait. Call or text VISIT to 239-747-7470 right now.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Anytime you want to watch it, FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook. Anytime you want to check out the program after hours, Florida's Voice with Drew Steele, the podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, blah, 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 blah. All right, top of the news from the Florida's Voice newsroom right now.
Top of the news, Florida's headlines.
Now. All right, let's see what's going on in the Florida's Voice newsroom as we working hard there. We've got Michelle Vesserina. She's got the latest for us right now. Let's see what's up. What's up?
Hey, Drew.
Hey.
Here's what's topping the news right now. Florida is moving to protect families from the darker side of artificial intelligence. Governor Ron DeSantis and state lawmakers have unveiled a comprehensive AI Bill of Rights to rein in the technology. Senate Bill 482 would require parental consent for minors on chatbot platforms and give parents access to those conversations to prevent digital grooming. The plan also bans government use of Chinese-developed AI tools like DeepSeek and prohibits utility companies from passing the costs of massive data centers onto your monthly bill. Republican Senator Tom Leek is carrying the measure, and Democratic Rep. Christine Hunchofsky sponsored the House bill. This comes after heartbreaking testimony from parents who lost children to suicide after interacting with predatory bots. Vice President J.D. Vance fired up thousands of patriots in Phoenix this weekend at Turning Point USA's America Fest. Vance touted historic wins on the border, noting that over 2.5 million illegal immigrants have left the country, marking the first negative net migration in 50 years. He called on conservatives to reject purity tests and unify behind the America First agenda while honoring the legacy of founder Charlie Kirk. Vance was introduced by Erica Kirk, who officially endorsed the vice president for a potential 2028 presidential run. Florida's education chief is putting a Clay County school board member in the hot seat over discriminatory social media posts. Commissioner Anastasio Camutzes has ordered Robert Alvaro to appear before the State Board of Education in January to explain his conduct. Alvaro admitted on social media to having overwhelmingly negative experiences with the African American community, calling them disrespectful and ruinous. Commissioner Camutzes called the post unprofessional and ethically concerning for someone entrusted with educating 39,000 students.
Yeah.
Coming up in our next hour, a banned nativity scene finds a new home. A high-tech light display forced to go dark in Satellite Beach is now shining bright in Cocoa Beach. We'll have the details on where you can see it at 4:35. I'm Michelle Vesserina, senior reporter for Florida's Voice. Drew, back to you.
All right, Michelle Vesserina in the Florida's Voice newsroom. We appreciate it. Anytime you want to check out the stories we're working on, it's flvoicenews.com. That's Florida's Voice, the website, so you can go visit there, like we said, whenever you would like. What else we got going on? I'll tell you, somebody who has been busy, crazy busy. By the way, we played some of the video last week while he was with the governor. He's making up rhymes. He's got all kinds of, it was like almost like a cool stand-up routine. He's got a future in that if he wants later on. But although it's not funny, some of the things that some places around the state are doing with regard to being transparent and accountable to the taxpayers. We'll get to that in just a second, because who am I talking about? I'm talking about the CFO of the great state of Florida, Blaise Ngolia, who's joining us right now on Florida's Voice. How are you, sir?
I'm great, Mr. Drew, and Merry Christmas to you and
Merry
everyone.
Christmas. Yes, Merry Christmas to you as well. No, seriously, that was good stuff. You had the, what was the roses are red, violets are blue. Something about stealing from the taxpayers. Don't let it happen to you or something. I don't know what it was, but it was good stuff. So
We are being overtaxed, and it's because of you.
That's okay.
That was the line.
Well done, sir. But I'm serious though. When it comes to some of the things that you were talking about, and in a humorous way, it's only humorous up to a point, and then it becomes very serious because we want to make sure that local governments are being transparent and accountable. And so far, number one, how do you feel things are going with the first part of what you've rolled out, the legislative proposals? How are they being received? Maybe we can talk about Tampa, Orlando. We can talk about all of what you've seen so far.
Yeah, they're not being received well by the local elected officials. I said that I've become, and we've had this discussion before, the Jim Cantoria of local wasteful spending. When I show up, it's usually not good news. So they're not taking it. They're not taking it sitting down. And there's one thing in common over the 11 local governments that we've had done these FAFO reviews, and that's excuses. They're going to make excuses left and right to keep their bloated, wasteful budget. So it's sad that we are finding this, and they're sort of turning a blind eye to the calculations. Now, mind you, these calculations that we're using isn't something that we, pulled out of our back pocket. These spending calculations that index for inflation and population is actually used by the state of Colorado. in order to hold their government fiscally responsible. So it's not unheard of. They're just kicking and screaming because somebody is finally shining the light on the wasteful spending in local governments that are causing your property taxes to skyrocket.
Right. And by the way, I don't know if it was, I think it was Orlando, because you were talking about things like hot yoga.
Yeah.
Right? I think that was Orlando. I mean, you were literally describing things where it's like, wait a second, what's going on here? You know, people need to hear that. Because sometimes they'll hear there's been wasteful spending, but then when you tell them there's like there are hot yoga classes and things that your money is being spent on, then all of a sudden it should have been before, but it's even more now. Like, wait a second, what are you all spending my money on?
Yeah, but those are specific line items, right? So every local government, every government in general is going to have some ridiculous spending. What we are concerned on and what we should be all concerned on as taxpayers is the growth of government itself. Let me give you an example. Palm Beach County, we just did those calculations. We did a press conference, found out that they had wastefully and excessively spent $344 million of your tax dollars. So it's the growth of government that is concerning. So over the last 5 years, Palm Beach County grew by 67,000 people, but their budget over the past 5 years went up $900 million for 67,000 people. So it's that type of growth in government that we should all be concerned with. Yes, the funding a poet laureate like they did in Orlando, a tree survey like they did in Orlando, hot yoga classes like they did in Orlando is shocking. But the big overall shock and the thing that should scare voters the most is the growth in government itself.
How tough is it going to get some of this codified into statute?
I don't think it's going to be. Look, everything that we're doing right now, I have constitutional authority to do. Getting it codified in statute is helpful, but it's not necessary because, the will, the want, and the need and the desire of me to expose this wasteful spending isn't going away. I'm not going away. I'm going to be here for 9 years. The legislation is helpful, but it's not necessary.
Right. So part of that would be, for example, if, because like the 30,000 foot view would be you're exposing the waste. The people in that municipality are like, we don't want you here any longer. And we are not going to elect you once again to be part of anything that's going to be wasting our tax dollars, number one. And then you can you recommend the removal of an elected official for financial malfeasance, if it were?
Yeah, so we have any member of the cabinet, anyone basically can recommend the removal of an elected official for misfeasance and malfeasance. So we already have that available to us in our arsenal of things that we can do. Okay. We wrote it into a proposed bill because we just want to remind local governments that we can make these recommendations. Our recommendation isn't to allow me to remove a local elected official for misspending the money. I think that would be too much power vested in one person. Sure. But we should definitely be able to recommend it to the governor, and the governor would have the power to do it.
Right. And, I say this all the time when you're on. Well, often I say it because I think it bears repeating. Look, if we are going to do anything with regard to property tax relief in the future, we're going to have to make sure that everybody is dotting the I's, crossing the T's, and we know where all the our taxpayer dollars are going, and to be lean, if you will, and to be using our tax dollars properly in these municipalities is going to be important if we want to see that come to fruition. I think that's fair to say, right?
I think it's more than fair to say. I think taxpayers are sick and tired of being taxed to the hilt. They're being sick and tired of watching their tax dollars being spent and not caring about them who are footing the tax bill. And I think it's about time that we see big structural property tax reform on a ballot in November 26th. And I think we're going to get it.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, before we go, I think even Jim Cantore takes days off. You going to take some days off?
No days off. No days off.
No days off?
No, I mean, yeah, I tell you what, the going into the holidays is sort of the toughest time for me because even on, with the exception of maybe Christmas, every other day I wanted to work, and I realize that my employees need some time off, so I try not to contact them. But regardless, I'll take a whole bunch of work home with me, and I'll work regardless.
Okay, well there you go. All right, so there, you're going to take some. I was gonna say, are you fun at parties? I'm not really sure because you bringing the work with you there too. I mean, what do you got? You got laptops with you underneath your arm as you're heading over to Christmas party? I hope not. Oh boy, that would be
Protecting taxpayers is a 365 day a year job.
Yeah, well, it's true. It is. All right. Well, once again, great to have you here. Merry Christmas. Thank you for what you're doing, and look forward to next time we get an opportunity to speak, which I'm sure is going to be soon because you don't sleep. You're
Merry Christmas, brother.
All right, we'll see you soon. There he goes. That's the CFO of the great state of Florida, Blaze Ngoli. Always appreciate a visit here on Florida's Voice. All right, what else we got going on? 866-588-8303 is the phone number. I don't know why I was humming that. It just came across that way. All right, we're going to get to some of what the vice president said at TBUSA and the event in Phoenix coming up in just a bit. And, a big part of why the vice president being there and speaking, obviously, his friendship with Charlie Kirk, number one. Number two, a lot of questions that he answered, things that he talked about specifically. As a matter of fact, key revelations that helped him get through losing Charlie Kirk, and some of the things that he talked about specifically. I think I could play some of that right now. And again, these are the moments that you want to hear at an event like this, unifying everyone there in the audience and talking openly and candidly about a lot of different issues with regard to not just the country and the direction we're going, but even Charlie in particular.
And what saved me was realizing that the story of the Christian faith, like the story of these United States of America, is one of immense loss followed by even bigger victory. It's a story. It's a story of very dark nights followed by very bright dawns. What saved me was remembering the inherent goodness of God and that His grace overflows when we least expect it. Not long ago, I spent time at a Christian men's ministry just a couple of weeks ago. And here's what they do. They take men who struggle with addiction or homelessness, and they help them get back on their feet. They feed them, they clothe them, they give them shelter and financial advice. They live out the very best part of Christ's commission. Now, afterwards, I had lunch with 4 of these men. It was a couple of white guys, a Hispanic guy, and a black man. They had all struggled in their unique ways. Some had lost contact with their family, some of them for a very long time. Others were desperate to rebuild relationships with their kids so that they could see them on Christmas. But all of them were back on their feet. And what saved them? It wasn't racial commonality or grievance. It wasn't some philosophical jargon. It wasn't a DEI prep course, and it wasn't a welfare check. It was the fact that a carpenter died 2,000 years ago and changed the world in the process.
Boom. Boom. That's what I'm talking about. How about that? And again, I listened to the vice president speaking like this confidently to an audience, 30,000 young people who are there listening to what he has to say and thinking, what an incredible bench we have, an opportunity we have in the future for a future president moving forward. It's just great.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow, you sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to health care, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE 40. 855-SHARE-40.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, if you're looking to take advantage of today's pro-business environment and strengthen your financial future, certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and his team at Advantage Retirement Group have got you covered. They specialize in advanced tax strategies, risk management, and retirement planning, all aimed at helping high net worth investors like you thrive. Now, Alfie wants to share those insights with you with his book, Keeping You on the Retirement Fairway. It's packed with practical tips and forward-thinking strategies to help you make the most out of your hard-earned wealth. Ready to get your free copy? Text BOOK to 239-747-7470. That's 239-747-7470. Don't wait. Learn how to capitalize on that pro-business opportunities that are out there right now and secure the confident retirement you deserve. Once again, text BOOK to 239-747-7470 right now, and let Alfie Townsend and Advantage Retirement Group help guide you toward a stronger, more confident financial future.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move, when being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays, when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
All right, anytime you want to watch at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook. Anytime you want to check out the program after hours, drewsteele.com, the website. Steele has 3 E's, DREWSTEELE. That is the website. It streams 24/7 if you'd like to listen. As a matter of fact, it works like an app right now. So if you're driving around, you're doing some last-minute Christmas shopping, which sounds very familiar because I was doing the same thing not too long ago. You can carry it around. It works like an app, and then you can play the show where you are. So you won't have to worry about stepping away from the computer or the car. You can listen while you're walking around buying, I don't know, cheese. I think that's one of the big things, right? You have to get cheese and crackers, and well, hopefully you're not buying any meat products right now. Hopefully you already have all of that ready to go. It's the accoutrements. It's the things that go before Christmas, for example. the dinner. You know, you want to have your cheese and crackers and stuff like that. All right, I'm just making myself hungry. That's the only reason why I said that. It's just because I know on a break I'm going to go get some cheese and crackers. Okay. Hey, I don't know how many of you love when your favorite celebrities bash your favorite president, because that happens oftentimes. And then you have these major decisions that you have to make. Like, for example, if so-and-so, the actor, decides that Donald Trump is the most awful human being in the world, you might look at said actor and be like, whatever, I don't like you. I don't like the movies that you're in. I typically don't watch them anyway, so I'll dismiss it. I'll just forget about said actor. That's it, I'm fine. But what happens if it's like one of your favorite musicians? Then what do? Like, for example, I don't know how many of you out there are big fans of this guy. If you see him on the screen, let's see. Nina's in the breaking news room. Nina, can you see the screen right now? I'm not sure if you can see. Do you know who that gentleman is right there? Would you like to? You don't have to crack the mic if you don't want to, but you can certainly text me and let me know. All bundled up and walking the streets. Do you have any idea who this human being is? This person that's getting ready to speak? That is Dave Matthews. He has a band named after him. It's called the Dave Matthews Band. You big fan of Dave Matthews? You may not be after hearing this, because I guess Dave Matthews has an opinion, like a lot of people do, on the President of the United States. Let's see what he has to say.
What a disgusting human being Donald Trump is. Just beyond, have to find a different way across the road here. What a beyond despicable, disgusting human being he is. What a shallow, horrifying, selfish, greedy, cruel little pig he is.
Selfish, cruel, greedy little pig he is. That's Dave Matthews. Dave Matthews Band, and that's Dave Matthews walking the street of some city where he's really cold and had to take to his phone to tell everybody how much he despises Donald Trump as president of the United States. He goes on for another 20 seconds, but yeah, I've had enough. And so I only bring this up because this is the kind of thing that, you know, you're going to get on both sides. For example, you know, everybody's talking about Nicki Minaj showing up at TPUSA and being on stage with Erica Kirk and saying all these very important things, and there are some people looking and like, why am I listening to anything that Nicki Minaj? I mean, just because she's saying something I agree with doesn't necessarily mean. I mean, who is she again? And what's her life about? And what has she been doing? And what does she do in her music? And that kind of stuff. I'm wondering about that too. So all of a sudden, it's the same thing like with Dave Matthews, where you're like, oh, I love Dave Matthews. I got all of his albums. Again, I'll follow him across the world and everything. And now he says something about Donald Trump, and you're like, you have a decision to make. Are you going to dismiss everything, Dave Matthews, or are you like, I can forgive you because I love the music? I mean, you might. I just thought it was interesting because I look at both sides, and Nicki Minaj and Dave Matthews, and I'm just wondering what you think about all of that.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
It's 4 a.m., Monday, and you're literally sucking baby snot through a tube because she's congested. Man, that's love. And if you love her that much, love her enough to make sure she's buckled in the right car seat. To make sure your child's in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. You let him try violin because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
No way.
No way. No way. No way. My kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele. Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Congratulations on your show.
Congratulations on your new show. Big deal, huh?
That's why shows like yours are so important. We have an independent county elected sheriff that's the head of law enforcement in Jacksonville/Duval County. And I know how to work toward making this city safe.
We can't be shy about speaking on things such as faith and politics. We have to remember, in a free society, the public square belongs to all of us.
I'm not interested in North Florida looking like Orlando or Miami. I love where we live, but I think that good jobs means that people that live in this district can stay in this district.
Fishing and hunting is funding a large part of your conservation projects in Florida, and we want to make sure that those are forever preserved.
And the problem with this industry at this point is that they actually target our youth. You can see it in their marketing strategies, where it's bright colors, fun names.
And that's going to be endlessly litigated.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, are you still playing defense with your money? Now might be the perfect time to go on offense and seize the opportunities presented by the new pro-business environment ushered in by President Trump and his administration. That's exactly what certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and his team at Advantage Retirement Group do for high net worth investors like you. They create strategies designed to help manage taxes, control risks, and boost your financial confidence. It's a forward-thinking approach that can strengthen your foundation so you can enjoy the lifestyle you've worked so hard to achieve. If you're ready to see how Alfie's team can help elevate your plan, call or text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Again, text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Schedule your one-on-one consultation today and discover proactive strategies to help you thrive in an ever-changing world. Again, text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Don't wait. Let Alfie Townsend and the Advantage Retirement Group team guide you toward a stronger, more confident financial future.
I've been dipping snuff for well over 30 years. You know, I could wake up in the morning and have a weird lump in my gums. Guess it's like playing Russian roulette, really. I would love grandchildren. And if by quitting it extends my life some, I would gladly lay it down.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
Today, push harder, push forward, push vigorously.
There are things that I am hiding from people that I'm trying to inspire.
You can do whatever you set your mind to.
I feel like a hypocrite a lot of the times.
Don't give up on yourself ever.
Smoking, I hide it because I'm ashamed of it. I want to get out of the shadow. I want to show people there is light away from the darkness. I am going to quit.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move, when being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays, when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and you know I love the Floor Meisters in Naples. Locally family-owned business, 3 generations of Meisters. Listen, what are you looking for? Carpet, tile, hardwood, a Core-Tech? Maybe that's what you're looking for. And why don't we talk to TJ Meister right now of the Floor Meisters and find out what's going on with Core-Tech. What's up, TJ?
Well, we're just keeping up with the demand for Core-Tech. Just had to order a truck and bring it in from the west coast of the United States to keep up with all the needs and wants of the people of Southwest Florida. Somebody doesn't have it, give me a call. I probably do.
I tell you, I love my Core-Tech floor. People love it. What is it about it that makes it so awesome?
Well, it's waterproof, kid-proof, pet-proof. So if you got a pool, no problem. If you got a dog, no problem. If you got a husband that spills, no problem.
Floor Meisters, that's who I trust, and you should as well. 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples. 239-596-4964 for the Floor Meisters.
Let's see. If something costs less, a lot less, but people are actually happier with it, that sounds like something to look into. And that's MetaShare. Maybe you've heard joining MetaShare can save you or your family up to $500 a month, and that's huge. But it's also true. People are just happier with it. They love being part of something that reflects and promotes their values and what they believe in. MetaShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years now, and members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE 40. 855-SHARE-40.
Thank you for waking us all up out here, for all you do.
Thank you for giving us a voice.
For being out there helping keep the constitutional republic. I want to thank you for
your support for veterans in the military.
Educating us.
Standing up for conservatism.
Giving us the truth.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Hey, everybody. Glad you're joining us today on Florida's Voice. My name is Drew Steele, Big D on the other side of the glass. Nina's in the breaking newsroom, and you hanging out with us at FL Voice News on your YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook. Anytime you want to watch, if you want to stream live, drewsteele.com, the website. Steele has 3 E's. And if you want to listen after the show is done, Florida's Voice with Drew Steele, the podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get it. So did you want to do something extra special for the audience today, Nina? Did you want to do this right now? Did you want to try to crack your microphone and see if it works so you can say Merry Christmas to everybody who's listening? Because people know you're in the breaking newsroom, but they never get a chance to hear you. So do you want to do that right now? Just give me a yes or no. Thumbs up from over there on the glass. No thumbs up yet? Okay.
I'm here.
Oh, look at you. Okay, yes. We can hear you perfectly. All right. If you want to give the audience a Merry Christmas wish from the breaking newsroom, you can do that right now, and then we'll move on if you'd like.
Absolutely. Merry Christmas, everyone. Hope everyone has a happy new year. We love all of you, and it's been a great year. I'm looking forward to an even better one next year.
Wow. Okay, look at you. You said a lot more than I thought you were going to say, because she doesn't necessarily like to crack the mic. So, well, that's good. All right, back to it. We got too much news that you need to take care of. So it's breaking out there someplace. All right, let me just play a little bit of this. TPUSA, I don't want to do the whole Ben Shapiro, Megyn Kelly, and the back and forth and all the fracturing of MAGA and America First. What I really want to do is talk a little bit more about some other things that were going on, including some of the important things that were said by, let's just say, Representative Anna Paulina Luna, who said something that I think is very, very important. And I just want to make sure that we all remember the point that she was making, for example, with this whole fracturing business and the like. And here she is, and she says...
You may not like Tucker Carlson or Ben Shapiro or Steve Bannon or me. But guess what? If the radical left wins, you... us and them, we all hang together. We can duke it out on stage, but remember the fight ahead. Because we are all in this fight together. And we have crossed this Rubicon, and it's important to remember who the real enemy is, and that is the radical left that killed my friend Charlie Kirk.
There you go. All right, so the radical left is who we really need to be looking at and fighting against. And that we have to stay united. And, listen, that's a little bit of truth drop there. That we all need to come together no matter what. Because we have to understand who the enemy is, who the people are that want to destroy this country. And they'll continue doing it. They're not going to stop. And we have to politically fight against them each and every day. You had some things that were said by the Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance, who was talking about Representative Jasmine Crockett, which I thought was very interesting that her name got brought up here.
And Jasmine Crockett. Oh, Jasmine Crockett. The record speaks for itself. She wants to be a senator, though her street girl persona is about as real as her nails.
Oh, my. Oh, boy. Yeah, Yeah, he went there. Oh, yes, he did. So that's the vice president of these United States roasting Jasmine Crockett. She wants to be a senator, though, whose street girl persona is about as real as her nails. Oh, boy. Well, I wonder what Jasmine Crockett has to say about that. She did have an answer, of course, because she ran and the media, MSNB, whatever they call themselves these days, CNN, I don't know who it was, which show. Yeah, she went to MS Now, right now. So she went running there to be like, okay, JD Vance just insulted me. You want to have me on the program, right? Yep. All right, so here she is. So she gets on the program and talking about his remarks from TPUSA, and I'm not really sure about this answer. This seems like an odd one. Check this out.
And that is actually what they are fearful of, is my authenticity, because it rings true with every single American, whether they're a Texan or not.
Wait, I'm sorry. You think that Republicans are fearful of you because, well, number one, that we're fearful of you politically, and number two, that because you ring so true to the average American that's out there. I'm not sure if everybody you ring true with every single person. I mean, that's a lot of people, especially across Texas. And I'm not sure. By the way, one other thing I want to play before she gets to her comment that I think was like a little weird, and it's this. I know it's easy to make fun of Jasmine Crockett. I know the vice president did, and I know there are many talking heads that were there at TPUSA that do it on a regular basis. You know, we have some fun with some of the things that she has said, but please, 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 let's not do this. Let's not be a country who thinks that everybody thinks like we do with regard to her qualifications as a senator in the state of Texas, and just make believe like it's never going to happen. Then and all of a sudden wake up the next day and it's like, wait a minute, she won? What? Really? She did? Yeah. Let's just make sure that she doesn't win the primary, and then make sure that she doesn't win the election before we start making it seem like it's never going to happen. I don't know. Because stranger things have happened.
True international average of pressure.
That dude was president. And he ran 3 times before. And the media laughed him out of even trying to be a senator from Delaware to become president. There was the one time in the 70s when he got busted for plagiarism. And he still became president with 372 million votes. So let's not do... Okay, here's the rest of the comments by Representative Jasmine Crockett on MS Now. Very upset about Vance insulting Crockett at TPUSA.
It rings true that I am fighting for real everyday people. And instead of talking about policy, when you're talking about the record speaks for itself, baby, let's talk about your record. Because the only reason you're the vice president is because the current president tried to have his last president killed.
Wait. Can you back that tape up? Can you play that again? Because what did she say? Hold on.
For itself, baby, let's talk about your record.
Yeah.
Because the only reason you're the vice president is because the current president tried to have his last president killed.
Wait a minute. The only reason you're the vice president, she's talking to JD Vance, is because the current president tried to have his last president killed. Yeah, I don't know. That's the way everybody in Texas is thinking. I don't think that's the way anybody is thinking in the United States of America. I don't even think people are thinking that in the newsroom or even in the breaking newsroom. Nina, were you ever thinking that at all? You can crack your mic and say no if you want to. You don't have to crack your mic at all if you don't want to. I don't know if Dee's back again because I know he was busy running around talking to some people there in the newsroom. But the point is, that sounded a little crazy. Not sure what that was, but still, let's make sure she doesn't win the primary in the state first. And then let's make sure she doesn't actually win the election before we start saying things like, it'll never happen. I just got to get past that place. That's all. I'm just asking for that. All right, what else do we got going on here at Florida's Voice? Hit me. Here is a Florida combination national story that I thought was interesting. So I don't know how many of you knew about this, but the head of CBS News is Barry Weiss. Barry Weiss has not been exactly a fan of the presidents or MAGA or America First. I think Barry Weiss is trying to give the American people the impression that it's a new day at CBS and we're going to be doing things differently here. We're going to be actually doing some journalism. I know I'm laughing because it's like, it's really not going to happen. But so she's the editor-in-chief now. And what ended up happening was she pulled a 60 Minutes story about illegals and what was it? The CCOT prison in El Salvador. And she pulled the story. The video tease was out there. People on social media were like, I don't know if you know this, but this is this feels like this is political. Like this is Barry Weiss doing Donald Trump a favor by pulling this story. Why? What went on here? Because people on the left lost their minds because the story was supposed to be about how illegals are being treated at the prison in El Salvador, at CCOT. And there's a 60 Minutes correspondent. Her name is Sharon Alfonsi. Remember the name Sharon Alfonsi, not to be confused with the Fonz from Happy Days. I see what I did there, D? A little bit of Fonz, Happy Days, little... Get it? Alfonsi, Fonz? Yeah. So anyway, the point is, he's not even laughing. Not even a comment. Not even a murmur. Nothing. So Sharon Alfonsi was complaining that it should have aired. I mean, what's going on there is terrible. The president wants to hide it. And this was a political call. And this is Barry Weiss doing the bidding of the White House. So she said, she sent an email to colleagues stating that CBS News, Barry Weiss, quote, spiked the story about Trump and the transfer of deportees to a prison in El Salvador. The suggestion being that there were people from Venezuela who were sent to CCOT, the prison in El Salvador, and they were being horribly mistreated. It was terrible what was going on over there. And this president doesn't want anybody to know this, right? And so Barry Weiss is like, hold on, hold your cheese. Hold on a second. Her statement was, my job, this is Barry Weiss, the editor-in-chief there at CBS News. My job is to make sure all stories we publish are the best they can be. Holding stories that aren't ready for whatever reason, that they lack sufficient context, say, or that they're missing critical voices, happens every day in every newsroom. I look forward to airing this important piece when it's ready. So you have Sherry Alfonsi, who's like, she spiked this because Trump. And Barry Weiss is like, hold on a second. Maybe I spiked this because this story wasn't ready and you made a big mistake by putting it out there. And maybe, just maybe, the torture that was happening by Salvadorian officials there at CCOT wasn't really as described, and that innocent Venezuelans weren't sent there as described because Trump and just trying to get people deported out of the country, and that maybe you should have reached out to some officials for some comment. Maybe you needed a little more context. Almost as if, hear me out, almost as if they put this story out before Barry Weiss came along and were putting it together little by little, and were excited to get it out because the old CBS News before Barry Weiss would have put this thing out in a heartbeat because it was against the president, and it didn't make a difference if you dotted the I's and crossed the T's. You didn't have to do anything like that because it seems like the MO of most major media outlets to go after the president of the United States and then all of a sudden go, oopsie, we made a mistake. And then the president's like, I might have to sue you. And they're like, oh, do you really have to? Oh, no. And the next thing you know, there's cash flying out of their pockets and it's making their way to the presidents. You know what I'm saying? In other words, don't do that. Just be honest in your journalism. Then maybe there was a problem here. So that is a big part of the story. And she's saying, look, we needed to do more. We had a staff call on this. Sharon Alfonsi was not happy about being called out like this. And she didn't like that they didn't go out and get any comments from the Trump administration. This being Barry Weiss. She didn't like that she was being called out. Okay, so all of this to say, it's the news being the news, the media doing the left-leaning media doing what they do. Okay, so what's the Florida connection here? Well, there were some very intrepid individuals. As a matter of fact, A.G. Hamilton, AG on X, giving people credit where credit's due. Because that's what we do here. I'm not taking the credit. I'm giving the credit to the people that deserve the credit for finding out about this. 'Cause I didn't do it. They did it. So A.G. Hamilton's like, hold on a second. I remember that name. This Sherry Alfonsi person. And I think I found a little nugget here on said person. The reason why AG recognized the name is that she was the reporter behind the bogus DeSantis Publix hit piece. Do you remember that one? Oh, let me refresh your memory. As was described here on AG's X account, 60 Minutes tried to smear DeSantis with another imaginary COVID scandal. Do you remember? And let me just give you a little overview, and then I'll read from this. Do you remember during COVID, everybody was freaking out about DeSantis giving giving Publix, the supermarket chain Publix, the contract to vaccinate state residents? And everybody's like, oh, this is pay to play. We know what this is. We know what's going on behind the scenes. And it's like, hold on a second. Do you live in the state of Florida? Do you understand that you can throw a rock and hit a Publix no matter which direction you throw a rock? It's just the way it is. I mean, there's what, like 800 stores across the state. So if you were thinking, hey, you know what? I need to keep people safe, for example. And let's just say that you wanted a vaccine. You wanted to be vaccinated at the time, right? And let's say you wanted to make sure the vaccine was available to the most people at the time and readily available. And where would you go? You'd go to Publix. Like, everybody listening to the sound of my voice in the state of Florida knows this is the case. They know it's true. CBS News 60 Minutes did a segment on Florida's vaccination campaign. The popular investigative show sent a reporter to Florida to confront DeSantis about what it insinuated was a pay-to-play scandal. 60 Minutes pointed out that Publix, the Florida-based supermarket chain, awarded the contract to vaccinate state residents, had given DeSantis' PAC several significant donations, ignoring that Publix, number one, is by far the largest supermarket chain in the state, 800 locations, and it seems like there's one popping up in every neighborhood as we speak. They already did other vaccinations, and it made the most sense. Of course it did. Oh, and the report also overlooked that Publix donates to both Republicans and Democrats, so they're donating to the PAC of the Florida governor is not unusual. Lastly, CBS News, it looks like, intentionally omitted contrary evidence and statements, even from Democrats involved. Jared Moskowitz, Democrat, director of Florida's Division of Emergency Management at the time, came out and said, it's crazy. And they recommended Publix. And there were other people that were saying that it was intentionally false. And I'm slapping my hands. And who do you think was the person behind the article that wrote all this up, that came from 60 Minutes, that wanted to do the hit piece against Florida and DeSantis? Dun, 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 dun. Well, I don't want to do that. Oh, thank you. That's right. Our good friend and your good friend, well, not my good friend, Sherry Alfonsi. There she is. So the person that did this story that's really upset about the story going against Trump and the president in El Salvador and the Venezuelans being sent there, illegals, and there's a lot that was left out of the story, by the way. That same Sherry is the same one that tried to do the hit piece on DeSantis. You like apples? How about them apples? Yeah, so I think there's a little more to the story, and I think Barry Weiss was trying to get ahead of it, and it's like, look, we'll get the story out. As the kids like to say, cool your jets. Actually, I don't know if the kids say cool your jets, but I say it. Drives my son crazy, because I don't think any of his friends say it. But point is, cool your jets. We'll get the story out sooner or later. But can we just check the story out? Because I'm new here, and I'm kind of worried that you're going to be doing the same old shenanigans that you were doing before. That kind of stuff. All right. So I really, really liked that story. And it had a little bit of a Florida connection. So even more fun to be had by all, sort of, kind of. All right, what else do we got going on here? By the way, new to the program, that is me right there, doing what is the transition between topics, in case you're wondering what I'm doing. Let's see. Massive fraud on an unprecedented scale. What's going on here? Well, we kind of talked about it last week. There's more that Democrats are going to have to cover because the Wall Street Journal did a piece about the biggest fraud in welfare. The government gives tens of thousands of dollars in benefits to the poor, which it doesn't count as income. Yet even as our economy has experienced broad-based growth, real federal welfare spending has soared by 765%, more than twice as fast as total federal spending, and now costing $1.4 trillion annually, where that money simply doled out evenly to the 19 million families the government defines as poor. Each household will receive more than $70,000 a year. Feels like there's a problem here. Something's profoundly wrong with the U.S. welfare system. It runs far and deep and is more dangerous and shocking than just what's been going on in Minnesota. This came out a couple of days ago, and I just wanted to bring this up here because it is part of what we're going to be talking about in just a little bit, because Democrats and fraud feels oftentimes like it goes hand in hand. I know. How dare you say something like that? Can you prove it? Well, I probably could. And coming up, there's some more fraud that's out there that needs to be discussed. And the only reason why I'm bringing it up, this as well as the fraud that I'm going to be talking about, is because you can't miss the lead. The lead story in all of this is that it'll continue to happen unless people are held accountable. Everything I'm about to tell you won't mean a hill of beans or whatever the kids say these days. If people are not perp walked, held accountable, we have to see it, right?
Every time I think about Trump, I get allergic.
I'm thinking of you too. Yeah, so we're going to get to that coming up in a minute. But look, you may right now have a situation where you're going to have family members over the house and you're really worried about your air conditioning. I get it. When you make a major purchase, for example, you want to have lots of choices, makes and models. Like, let's say it was a vehicle. Well, at Strata Air Conditioning and Heating, they feel homeowners should be able to select from a full range of air conditioning manufacturers and models to get the exact system that best suits your home, your lifestyle, and your budget. That's why they sell and service every major manufacturer, including Carrier, Goodman, Daikin, Trane, Mitsubishi, and Lennox, and they're committed to 5-star customer service. Visit the website, stradaac.com. You ought to call Strata. License number CACO 43953. Top of the news is next.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA. It is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families. And one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and I have to tell you, when my wife and I talked about getting new kitchen countertops for our house, we know who to call. Rock Solid Countertops and More, 2240 J&C Boulevard in Naples. And they have been absolutely amazing. Hugo and the team are the best. The workmanship has been absolutely incredible. The install was so easy. The process was perfect. Taking everything out, bringing the new stuff in. The quartz countertop is unbelievably beautiful, and my wife is super happy, I'll tell you. You know they have the best quality and selection of marble, quartz, granite, and a one-stop shop for all of your kitchen, outdoor, and bathroom needs. I've known it for years. I've lived in Southwest Florida 40 years. There was really only one place I was going to go. It's rock-solid countertops and more. I would suggest you give them a call, 596-7676. They're at 2240 JNC Boulevard in Naples. Find out what they can do for you. Countertops, cabinets, plantation shutters, they do it all. Rock solid countertops and more.
Let's see, if something costs less, a lot less, but people are actually happier with it, that sounds like something to look into. And that's MetaShare. Maybe you've heard joining MetaShare can save you or your family up to $500 a month, and that's huge. But it's also true, people are just happier with it. They love being part of something that reflects and promotes their values and what they believe in. MetaShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years now, and members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 855-SHARE-40. 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 855-SHARE-40.
Since the dawn of time, man and wildlife have shared a connection, and hunting traditions passed down from generation to generation have connected man to the natural world, from bow and arrow to hook and bullet. As man evolved, our link to those traditions remain with them forever. Yet today, our basic instinct to provide and as part of the hunt to conserve and appreciate the natural world has fallen under attack for the first time in human history. The misguided politicians and radical activists pushing an agenda to end hunting as we know it, or leading a war against our heritage and their misguided policies and protests. They demonize hunters and belittle our way of life, the results of hunters leaving the sport in droves, while our wildlife and ecosystems suffer the consequences as conservation funding dries up. Named after the father of the North American model for wildlife conservation, the International Order of T. Roosevelt is fighting in the arena to protect and expand the rights of hunters everywhere. We will fight back against these forces to make sure that every American has a right to hunt, enshrined in their state constitutions. We will educate the next generation in our traditions and seek to expand accessibility so that everyone can enjoy our pastimes. And we will continue to hold true to our namesake's efforts to protect, preserve, and ensure open access to our nation's wild lands. Teddy Roosevelt's vision for American conservation defines our modern hunting and conservation system, a system upheld by the idea that conservation efforts are crucial to our hunting way of life, and that hunters are crucial to successful conservation.
To some, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much, but that's not true. They're testing out vowels and consonants and trying different sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on meaning, especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, are you still playing defense with your money? It's time to shift gears and seize the fresh opportunities this new pro-business environment has to offer. That's exactly what certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and the team at Advantage Retirement Group do for high net worth investors like you, helping you go on the offense with advanced tax strategies, thoughtful risk management, and forward-thinking financial planning. Imagine enjoying the retirement lifestyle you've worked so hard to achieve, all while staying one step ahead, and in a changing world, you've gotta do it. Alfie and his team design personalized strategies to strengthen your financial foundation so you can focus on living life on your terms. Ready to find out more? Text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Again, you can call or text 239-747-7470. Schedule your one-on-one consultation today and see how a proactive approach can help you thrive no matter what the market does next. Don't wait. Call or text VISIT to 239-747-7470 right now.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Anytime you want to watch it, FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook. Anytime you want to check out the program after hours, Florida's Voice with Drew Steele, the podcast. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get those podcasts. Right now, top of the news.
Top of the news. Florida's headlines.
Now. All right, let's see. We got Michelle Vesserina in the Florida's Voice newsroom for the last time today. Let's see what they're working on.
Hey, Drew.
Hey.
Here's what's topping the news right now. A high-tech nativity scene that was banned in Satellite Beach has officially found a new home after city officials ordered the AI-powered light display to be shut down over turtle protection ordinances. The Point Church in Cocoa Beach stepped in to save the show. The immersive display, created by Jonathan Myers, is now projected nightly on the church walls from 6 p.m. to midnight through the end of the year. Myers says he is grateful for the community support and hopes other cities will update their codes to allow for similar holiday displays in the future. Florida lawmakers are taking a stand against the risks of generative artificial intelligence. Senator Tom Leek has officially filed the AI Bill of Rights, a comprehensive plan to protect minors from digital grooming and predatory chatbots. The legislation would require parental consent for minor accounts and give parents the right to access conversation histories. The bill also prohibits AI from imitating licensed mental health professionals and bans the use of Chinese-developed AI tools by government agencies to prevent data harvesting. Vice President J.D. Vance is calling for conservative unity following a massive showing at Turning Point USA's AmeriFest in Phoenix. Vance told thousands of supporters that the Trump administration has achieved negative net migration for the first time in 50 years, with over 2.5 million illegal aliens leaving the country.
Nice.
The vice president also received a major boost for 2028, earning a resounding endorsement from Turning Point CEO Erica Kirk. And that's all for now. Make sure to visit flvoicenews.com to stay up to date on these stories and more. While you're there, be sure to join our free daily newsletter. It is delivered straight to your inbox and is the premier way for conservatives to stay informed on the latest news from Florida and Washington, D.C. I'm Michelle Vesserina, senior reporter for Florida's Voice. Drew, back to you.
All right, Michelle Vesserina in the Florida's Voice newsroom. Anytime you want to check out the stories they're working on, FLVoicenews.com. That's the website. It's Florida's Voice. Easy for me to say, right? Yeah. Well, clearly not easy for me to say. So, D, I didn't know that the whole story about the high-tech nativity light display, and it was forced to go dark in Satellite Beach because of light ordinances that had to do with the turtles, right? Is that what it is? And so... Yeah, all right. So they want to protect the sea turtles and the other coastal wildlife from the artificial light. And so the Point Church on Atlantic Avenue in Cocoa said, well, look, we've got walls to project this whole thing there. And so rather than shut it all down, that they will allow it to take place at their church. And yeah,
good compromise.
Yeah, and it's a good thing because you'd want others to say, all right, so... instead of shutting it all down, I'm sure there are other churches or other places that you would be able to have this holiday display and still have the protections for the environment that they demand in those different cities. So I like that. I was trying to figure out what it was and, you know, what the problem was. And now, all right, now it makes sense. So they're going to take care of that, which is good. I don't know how we take care. D, how do we take care of Rosie O'Donnell?
I don't know. She's already out of the country.
Yeah, well, I mean, but there's got to be a way. What could we do to help? I want to be helpful here. And so there's been a Rosie O'Donnell sighting, and unfortunately, it's the TDS thing going on, and she recognizes it. And I'm just trying to figure out, what do we do? Here's the latest.
And those with what he calls derangement syndrome.
TDS, Trump derangement syndrome. Let's be specific. It's not any derangement syndrome. It's Trump derangement syndrome. Like you're constantly going onto social media and you talk about nothing else. Like that.
Are the ones who think that he's a good man. And it is not a good man. It's hardly even a human. Humans are full of compassion and empathy. And he has zero. Z-E-R-O.
Well, at least you could spell, like other people that we know.
A three-letter word. Jobs. J-O-B-S.
So that's a good start. Yeah, so there's Rosie who... Look, is there nothing to do? She lives in Ireland, right, Dee? Isn't that where she's at? She's in Ireland, I think?
Yes.
Is there anything going on in Ireland? I mean, they got a lot of beer. Well, no, I wouldn't. Yeah, you don't have to drink. Don't do
No,
that.
imagine Rosie drunk.
Yeah, we don't want to do that. So she lives in this constant state of depression because of Trump and the election, and she's still talking about it. And I don't know how we can possibly help her. Like, I literally do not know what we can do to help. It's that bad. All right, let's see. What else do we have going on here? I know we got a lot of stuff that's happening right now. Let's see. Oh boy, what was this? Oh, all right. No, that's not it. I wanted to get to. Oh, let's get to some Democrat stories. Other Democrats, shall we? This might be one of those stories that could be kind of fun. Let's talk about it, shall we? Here we go. So, I don't know if we talked. Did we talk on Friday about how the Kennedy Center is now going to be the Trump Kennedy Center?
Yes.
And
people
how
were going crazy that Trump put his name on it.
Right. Well, he didn't put the name on it. They have a board.
That
and
his name is going on it.
Right. The board voted, put his name on it. Now, you have some Democrats. Here's Chris Van Hollen. Chris Van Hollen was the senator. He was the dude that went and had the margarita with the Maryland man. Remember that?
The Maryland man thought to be wrongly deported. Deported Maryland man Kilmar Abrego Garcia.
A Maryland man wrongfully deported.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, remember that whole thing? So that's Chris Van Hollen, if you're wondering. So I guess on Friday, because there's nothing else going on in the United States of America at the moment because everything is perfect. Here's Chris Van Hollen, who, along with a large group of individuals, I guess, in D.C.
Look, all of us watched in horror yesterday as Donald Trump put his name on the Kennedy Center.
Watched in horror. Like, they were sitting there and it was like, it was a scene of a bad movie and we all watched in horror as the president. Did he do that? Did he get up on one of those really cool cherry picking machines and got up there and was like, put the T goes here and the R goes here? Did he do that? Because I missed him up on the cherry picker there, putting his name up on the side of the wall. Did he do that himself?
No.
No, I don't think he did.
Next to the name of John F. Kennedy.
Can you believe this?
Shame.
Shame.
And we are here to say that this.
To say what?
This desecration of the Kennedy Center will not stand.
Okay, it will not stand. Okay, so look, number one, leftists are crazy. That's the first thing you need to know. Kids, valuable lesson. Don't be a lefty, because lefties are crazy. Seriously, all the things that are going on in the world, and this is what they're lining up, and they're very upset about. It's horrific, I tell you. Having Trump's name next to John F. Kennedy at the Kennedy Center. Now, you might be saying, there's got to be more to the story, right? I mean, we all realize that the minute a Democrat becomes president of the United States, there won't be any funny plaques underneath the presidents that line the walls of the White House. Those will all be gone, truthful as they are, like Sleepy Joe Biden and Auto Pen. That'll be gone. You're going to take the Trump name down off the Kennedy Center. You're going to do that even though you had a board that voted to put it up there. But shouldn't we at least know why this happened to begin with? I mean, don't you want to know what went down? Well, Richard Grenell, who is he's former ambassador, right? But he's the Trump Kennedy Center president, former ambassador Richard Grenell, goes on the Newsmax and he's like, just so everybody understands what was going on, this is TDS on steroids because let me explain what was happening.
Well, look, first of all, let me just take your first point about the left completely melting down and throwing stones. I'm not surprised. It's very typical. They like the status quo, but let's talk about the status quo at the former Kennedy Center.
Yeah.
That was a place that was crumbling, literally, physically, and financially. I arrived, we had no money in the bank, and we were paying the staff with debt reserves. Anyone who understands finance knows that that is a terrible thing to do. It's
They were financing with debt reserves, okay.
Immoral, but yet it was being done. When President Trump came to the then Kennedy Center, he decided to go into the bowels and look at the infrastructure to understand what was going on. We had a leaky roof. We had pipes constantly bursting when there was a rainstorm. Water fountains didn't work. Our outdoor fountains didn't work.
That's fine. That's all right. Does it still have just Kennedy's name on the side? Because if all of that's going on, I'm okay with that, as long as you don't put Trump's name on it.
Lights that didn't work, paint crumbling, seats that were broken, elevators that literally weren't working. This is what the Democrats are now fighting for. They want to go back to the days of ignoring the arts institution and pretending like everything was fine. President Trump said, no, I want to save it. We had a conversation actually with the building personnel of whether or not to tear down the Kennedy Center.
Wow.
And the president said, no, I want to save it. He left the inspection process where he and I walked the building.
Yeah, but Trump doesn't do a lot of construction. So how would he know? Right? Right?
He left the building and went, by the time he got back to the White House, he had called Congress to say, I want to save the Kennedy Center. I want to put $250 million into it to save it. It's crumbling. And he did that. And in less than 10 months, President Trump got $250 million to save the Kennedy Center. And we got the money and started already fixing it. We've been saving the infrastructure. We're doing behind the house and the front of the house. People are seeing what's happening. It's starting to look much better.
Yeah, but it's got Trump's name on the side of it.